I grew up in New York, from Brooklyn, from a family of clergy. I grew up in the church. And just to dismiss the stereotype about battered women, my parents, I never saw them argue or fight. I would say I was sort of sheltered because I was always in church or at home. But just want people to know this can happen to anybody. So there really is no particular group of people that can get into this situation, okay? I met someone a few years ago online. We dated off and on for a year. He was very charming. We had arguments. I never saw him get violent. He was always very calm and reserved. We decided to move in together. During the second month of living together, he smacked me. So I said, okay, I'm not doing this again, because I had just came out of an 11-year abusive relationship a few years before that, and I had promised myself never, ever again. So while he was looking to find a place to live, he was still there, and then I just made a decision that he had to leave. I asked him to leave, and we talked about it, and then the very next day, around maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, he came in from work. I'm in the bed sleeping, and he just started hitting me. And he says he wasn't moving out. And I'm literally being woken out of my sleep, getting punched in the face in my pajamas. I jump out the bed, and I say, you know what, it's okay, you don't have to leave. But in my head, I'm like, I gotta get out of here, because I saw him spiral. I could look at him and see that he was really gonna hurt me in his eyes. I grab my boots, my coat, to run out. I make it to the hallway. He grabs me. And if any of you have ever seen the video of Sean Combs beating up his ex-girlfriend, that's a glimpse of what happened to me in the hall. I was on the floor, I'm screaming, he's kicking me, he's punching me. This must have lasted for at least 40 minutes. He got me back in the apartment where he choked me, punched me, told me I couldn't leave. He put me in the living room, grabbed my purse, forced me to unlock my phone, which I did, and then came back. He put his fingers to my head like this, and he says, I'm going to shoot you right there, and your head is going to fall. And then I'm going to bury you in the woods in New Jersey, and they'll never find you. I knew he meant it, because I knew or suspected, I didn't know for sure, but I suspected he had a gun because he talked about it, but I didn't think it was in my house. So I'm like, okay, it must be here somewhere, and he's going to kill you. You have to get out. So I'm sitting watching the door, because he's going back and forth between the living room and the other room with my phone, and every time he came in, he'd punch me on one side, then punch me on the other side. So I'm like, okay, you're going to die tonight if you don't get out of here. When I got a moment where I thought I saw a clear path, I got up, ran, opened the door, ran down the stairs, ran in the street. It's around 1:30 in the morning. I just kept on running until I got to a 24-hour place that was open. I asked the manager, the store manager, can you please help me call 911? My boyfriend beat me up. He's threatening to kill me. He said, Miss, you look fine to me. You don't look like anybody hurt you. I said, can you just please call the police? Please. I'm begging you, just call them for me, please. He said, you look okay. And then an store employee came up and he said, help her, call. So he called for me. The police came. They was going to make the arrest. However, because I crossed the street, I was in a different precinct area. So they couldn't do it. So the precinct that could make the arrest showed up. And one of the officers looked at me and I said, he kept punching me in the face. He said, your face looks okay. I said, I know, nothing ever shows on me. Then I pulled up my pants leg because my knee was bleeding from being dragged in the hall. So I showed him that, and then they went and proceeded to the home to make the arrest, which they did. And I was very grateful, because I know for a fact that when he said he was going to shoot me and kill me that night, he would have. So I was grateful that they made the arrest. I'm in the precinct, and something crazy happens while I'm writing my statement. I get a text message from him. I said, how is he texting me? Is he in the cell? Is he walking around? Now I'm really nervous. And it threw me off while I was writing my statement because I'm like, how was he texting me? And then his mother called. Then his best friend called, and they're saying, you need to drop these charges. You need to make it right. I'm like, what is going on here? So the officer comes, and I said, he just texted me. He says, oh, I didn't know he was going to do that. So I'm like, okay, he charmed them into getting his phone. I hope they believe me and everything goes okay. Now I'm very, very nervous. I'm sitting there shaking because I didn't feel safe anymore. And I forgot to write in the report about him threatening to shoot me and that he might have guns. I wrote everything else except that. Because while I'm sitting there now, I'm feeling the pain, the adrenaline wore off, my head is pounding, my body just feels sick. But thank God, the prosecutor prosecuted the case. But what I did find out after I got my order of protection was that I was the fourth woman that had an order of protection from him. And just to go back a little bit, after he was arrested and released, he came straight to my home. He put his key in and he was trying to get in. And that's important for me to say because he didn't respect the order of protection that was served on him in court. And thank God for my sister. I called her after he was arrested. She begged me to change the locks. I said, no, I don't have to change them. He got arrested. He'll be there for a few days. She came over and made me change them. If I didn't change them, he came back to complete what he started because he called me several times. He made it an unknown number, left messages telling me that he was going to kill me. So he came there to finish the job that night. And if he would have got in, he would have. A few days later, I was blessed with a wellness visit from the domestic violence officers assigned to me. I didn't know I was getting a visit, so I was pretty surprised when they were at my door. But I'm eternally grateful because this man kept coming around to where I lived at. He did not respect the order of protection, and he kept breaking it. He was arrested 3 times during the course of everything because he kept breaking it, and I was still getting visits, and I'm happy that I was able to get those visits because I never knew when they were coming, but he saw them one day. He called me, unknown number. I don't know where he was, but he saw a squad car, and he said, they there for me. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I see the police out in front of your building. I'm like, where are you? You're not supposed to be here. So it worked in many ways. It made me feel secure where I was at. I knew I had somebody to lean on. And also, it let him know that he couldn't just walk in to the building and do what he wanted to do. And he continuously made threats because I was cooperating with the district attorney's office. And he told me that if I continued to cooperate, after everything went through, that he would kill me. But I still went through with everything. I did not drop the charges because I felt that's not going to save me. If he wants to kill me, he's going to kill me anyway. So I might as well make sure that everyone knows who he is and what he's capable of. And during the course of that, COVID happened. So a lot of things that were supposed to happen didn't happen in the courts. So this case was in court for a while. But the whole time, I had the support of the domestic violence officers that came to visit me when they did. I had the support of my precinct. He came one day and put some nails in my tires in my car so I couldn't drive. And the detective that I spoke to at the precinct was so empathetic and so helpful. When I told him, I said, no, I didn't see him do it, but I know he did it. You know, he's been calling me, threatening me. And each time he broke the order of protection and I went to my precinct, they worked with me and they made an arrest. And I'll always be grateful for the way they worked with me, because it was very traumatic on my end. And having that support was very important at that time. And I still have it if I need it. You know, I have nothing but good things to say about the way that was handled, because I'm sitting here before you now giving you my story because they kept me safe.